Master Silver, and welcome back to, well, I guess not welcome back, but it's been a minute since I've done a review of a performance because I've kind of stopped posting performances, and not that, not for any other reason than the fact that I haven't done a performance to present. All the performances you saw previously, everything from like the radio play, way back at the beginning of the Dramatic Arts playlist, all the way down to the puppet show that I provided. That was all, for the most part, performances done in SJC, my high school. This is the first performance that I'm doing after SJC. It's the first thing I've shown off. And it's very short, it's only 5 minutes. And that's including with intro and outro. But it doesn't, it's there, and I managed to record it, but I want to put it out there. I don't know how many of these performances I'll actually be able to record. It's not like SJC, and I don't know, it's complicated. But even so, I managed to get this one recorded just to give a little something to show, like, hey, yeah, I'm still acting and everything, but that might be it for now, for a while. I don't exactly know what the future of it holds, doing this, but yes, this is The Happy-ish Man, my mediocre murder monologue. And just to provide a little background for this particular performance, essentially, we have this class that happens every Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. Or technically, if you want to go down that road, 1,400 hours to, no, 1,600 hours to 1,800 hours. Every Thursday. It's the last class of our Thursday, us in the acting program anyway, at TMU, which is where I am. And our big performance for the time for this class was called a passion project, or a passion piece. We had to spend somewhere between 4 to 6 minutes, give or take, talking about a passion. And we had so much time to prepare this. My problem was that I couldn't choose a passion to talk about. Between 4 to 6 minutes, I could have talked about Death Note, but at the same time, I'm writing the short film and everything. I felt like Death Note was a little too self-explanatory to do. Besides, I also felt that I wouldn't be able to talk about Death Note that well without eventually getting into philosophy, which I wanted to stick to one topic. And I couldn't do philosophy because philosophy is too grand of a thing to just condense down into like a 5-minute monologue. So I started thinking, what else can I do? What else could I possibly say? And I thought about doing my grandfather. He's deceased. He died back in the summer of grade 10 for me. And I considered doing him, but the other stipulation was that we couldn't talk directly to the audience. So I couldn't find a way to talk about my grandfather without talking directly to the audience, which turns out wasn't really a rule because literally everyone else pretty much, give or take, talked to the audience. So maybe I just misheard it, but I don't know. If I knew I could have done that, it would have been so much easier to work this out. I thought about doing my eldest sister, not my eldest sister, my eldest little sister, Brie, from the Three Morons podcast, but, no. And I struggled to find something to do. The other idea I had was cosplay, because if you've seen any of my videos for, like, what I do for Halloween, or my Pietro Maximov video, then you know for a fact that I go all out in making costumes and everything. But I felt that that was too close to acting, and we couldn't do acting because it was pretty obvious that we had a passion for acting, given we're in a program at university for acting. So acting was kind of vetoed off the table by our teacher right away. So what I ended up coming up with was this concept, which was basically a search for happiness. It was an attempt to find myself, is what I was going for. And in doing so, I kind of wrote down a bunch of things that I love, and that kind of cured my indecisiveness, because I talk about a couple things that I was already deciding between, and then just put them over this under this umbrella of happiness, and considered happiness my passion. The problem was, I wrote this one day, and then the next day, the day before the performance, I was up to like 4 a.m. memorizing it, and I had it down for the most part, but on the day of, I could feel the nerves kicking in, and then like 2 seconds, like a full minute, just a minute before the performance went on, I decided to completely flip the script, and you'll see what I mean, because I'm gonna provide a PDF document for people to observe, and that PDF document is going to be the script I wrote for this performance. And if you care to read it, it'll be linked in the description below. Hopefully it works, but Jesus Christ, did I go completely against it. I started talking about love, and then I talk about the rain, and then I talk about how it all kind of amasses to happiness for me, and then I talk about something else. But in the performance, as you'll see, I talk about rain, and then I talk about love, and I forget to talk about happiness. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, I wasn't... But it turned out decently for something that was basically entirely improvised on the spot. The person recording this, you don't know her. Her name's Emily. She's another person in the acting program, but that's about it. I mean, she also sprayed the stuff on my hands, so I'll get to that when I do. I also don't have really a costume for this, it's just in casual clothing because it made sense, and it's not really obvious in the video, but I wet down my hair beforehand because, again, I was talking about the rain. So, the whole thing is improvised, but I'll more so be pausing when the video, when I'm saying a line that is specifically improvised and wasn't ever part of the script. Otherwise, I knew full well that I was flipping the script, and I memorized most of the points, so I kind of just say everything I meant to say, but in complete reverse order. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So here we go. Sorry, stopped recording. Alright, back on this tab now. We good? Well, hopefully we're good. Alright, let's get this thing in full gear and just...
The happy-ish man.
Yeah. So we had to tell her the title of our thing beforehand. And this is the acting space. This is Current Hall West 80. And the stools and the background stuff, this was just from other people's performances, and we had to move everything out of the way and everything for people because we were just constantly like setting up and then moving everything around for someone else's, and yeah. This set is literally just this chair for me. That's all there is to it. If I could go back, I would do it. Knowing what I know now about how the passion piece was done by a bunch of other people, I could have done so much more, and I don't know. Fuck. Anyway, yeah.
Happy-ish?
I-S-H. Happy-ish.
This was also improvised. Me just starting from the back.
Happy-ish. Happy-ish. The happy-ish man. Okay.
Okay.
Hit it.
Look, I told the other guy, I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah, so my hair's wet down. The attire again, just casual. I couldn't find. Nobody owned handcuffs, and I couldn't find zip tie at the dollar store nearby the residence, so I had to improvise. At the dollar store, I bought this like elastic band type shit, and that I just wrapped that around my wrists, and that is my handcuffs. It's just that. It's so bad.
Specifically. If it's about the stuff I said in the rain, don't worry about it. It's not that bad. It's not a crime to talk in the rain, to intermingle with it. Well, I don't think it is anyway. I don't dance in the rain either, no. But I do move it. I study it. That's the thing with autism. It allows you to focus on little things.
That was improvised. The
I like
autism.
how it hits concrete versus how it hits wood. The way it illuminates parts of the earth versus the way parts of the earth illuminate the rain. The difference between one drop versus 100. You know? It's not a crime to love rain. At least I don't think it is. I don't even know how I began to love rain. You know, I wasn't a weird kid growing up. Really, not that weird. It's gotten worse over time. And I'm not an emo. I gotta make that very clear too. It just sort of switched all those years ago, and I mean very, very many years ago. You know, like a lot of years ago, more than you can count on one hand. Regardless, you know, I'm saying all this, and you're hearing all this. I don't think that's why I'm here, though. I mean, I was caught in the rain, so it led me to suspect.
That was
I guess.
improvised.
That just can't be right. On the topic I love, though, love itself, Valentine's Day. I mean, not Valentine's Day specifically, that's a marketing scheme, but
Improvised.
love. The idea of belonging to someone, I mean, isn't that just nice? To look into someone's eyes and know that you're theirs and they're yours, it's... Okay, so fine. I will be the first to admit I'm one step away from being a hopeless romantic. Yeah, it's not great. My track record isn't great. And you know, so what if I got a rap sheet a mile? Well, no, it's actually only a couple inches, but that's besides the point. I can provide you a sworn statement that I'm not a simp. If you just provide me a pen and paper, I can tell you that. And that's a good deal. Take it or leave it.
I didn't even expect people to laugh at that part. Jesus Christ.
I need a yin to my yang at some point, you know, before I die. I want white to my black. And sure, people can cheat. Even after marriage, it's not a guarantee that people won't. But that's the fun in it. You can't control.
That was unintentionally funny. I didn't mean
external
to
source,
make it
you
sound
know?
like that. So.
It's something out of your hands. You just gotta have faith in it. You gotta believe in it. I want to believe in it. And I'm a pessimist, which makes it all the more satisfying. But it's not a crime to love either. I don't know why I'm in handcuffs, yes. But why am I in handcuffs? Why? Who was the
This
man
is
that
all
brought me
improvised.
in? Why was I dragged out of the rain? I was loving the rain. I intermingle with the rain.
And now
It's
that-
consent, of course, but
this
I
is
intermingle
improvised.
with the rain. And I would intermingle with people too, but that's kind of above my pay grade. You know, I'm kind of saying all this, and realizing more and more that I don't actually think you have any charges against me. Is that fair to say? I think it's fair to say. And since you're holding me against my will, you know, at the very least I demand a lawyer, but if not a lawyer, I demand to be let go, because there was a very lovely couple of raindrops outside that I would have just loved to have felt on my skin.
Improvised.
So I'm just gonna get going. Yeah, if you don't, can you take off the? Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah. Right. On the topic of things I love, you know what I love?
This is all improvised. This whole speech part of it is improvised.
When certain people are alive. And you know, I want to clear on the record. Yeah, I didn't kill those people, okay? I did. There's it.
Yeah, so there you go. Very basic. like I said, it was like I had a script and I had it memorized, and then at the last moment I decided, yeah, it'd make more sense if I flipped it completely. So I flipped it from talking about love and like alluding to the idea that made me happy, and then I talked about the rain and how that made me happy, and then I just talked about happiness not being a crime overall, and then I would realize that, oh shit, yeah, I didn't kill anyone. And originally that concept was going to be a lot more subtle, you know, people weren't going to realize it. It was going to be like a crazy surprise punchline at the end that hopefully would have been like, wait, what the fuck? You mean with that kind of like absurd kind of humor. But no, when I went to the dollar store a while ago, well, not a while ago, but like 2 weeks before the performance, or it was before Halloween and everything. But I just went to the dollar store and I saw this and I thought it was really neat, so I bought it. And it's just fake blood. It's spray bottles of fake blood. And I thought that was so cool, so now I have two. I have 2 ounces. Well, technically I have 4 ounces altogether, which is 60 milliliters each. 120 whole milliliters of fake blood, and I have no idea what to do with it. But yeah, I brought some, and I just told Emily beforehand, like, listen, I need you to spray my hands. Just spray them a lot. So I flipped the script. I made the murder aspect of it a lot more obvious. And then I just kind of went out there and talked out of my ass. It got more people to laugh than I thought. I did write it with the intent of being funny, but even so, I didn't expect any of the humor to work. You gotta understand, this was like the first... I mean, I've done a monologue in front of them already, and I've done like a little bit of the scene that I'm doing in front of them. But this was like the first grandiose kind of performance that we all had. And this was the first kind of big project that we were taking seriously after having a bit of tutelage from our teachers at university. So, and this is kind of a big deal. And, you know, this was, that seems about right. I don't know. This was a bizarre time, really. And I've watched so many other people do theirs, and I was thinking about how much more I could have done with this. Even just this concept. You know, I forgot to even mention the fact that like I said, I forgot to mention the fact that it even made me happy. If you read the script, you'll know that I go not so in depth, but I go kind of in depth about love and my passion for belonging to someone because it's an external source and all that. And I kind of get in touch with the rain and all like the finite details and the presence of it and how I can channel emotion through it and everything. And then I talk about happiness and that being my overall pursuit, because I know there are smaller things like rain and all that that make me happy, but love is kind of the ultimate thing that I want and would like to experience long term. And even crimes, you know, I dress as a different criminal every year for Halloween, so that's kind of more of a subtle point I touch upon. But I put it all in there, thanks to my indecisiveness, as like a cure for it, under the umbrella of happiness. And I didn't even really touch on the fact that it makes me happy. I don't know. I've had ideas as to what I'd talk about with the other ones. Of course, I was never gonna do Death Note outright, as I didn't think I'd have the capacity to do so. If I would have done Death Note, I would have just dressed as L and then talked about it. And I doubt anyone would have gotten it, but still. If I was doing my grandfather, I would have brought in my sweater and I would have just sat down and discussed what he meant to me. I never really thought out what I would have said if it was breed that I was talking about. In terms of philosophy, again, I never really thought about that either. And cosplay, I was just gonna use my Deathstroke costume again, but that thing was a burden to carry around and everything, and it's not even with me anymore. It's at home and sitting in a duffel bag. But yeah, I would change a lot about this if I could do it again. But for being a completely improvised performance, again, it kind of sits there, and you know. On one hand, I really like it just because it was something fun and simple to do, and I kind of enjoy it for its simplicity. And the fact that I made it sound like something out of like a theatrical play that you'd see on a stage, because it does definitely sound like that kind of script, and less like a movie kind of script or anything like that. It's certainly different than the performance I did in SJC, but that's the other part. It's like on the other side of it, I kind of wish I did something more, because this was the first performance I did out of SJC, and so it's kind of supposed to be like showing the next step up. It's supposed to show other people who have seen my performances like I've kind of gone beyond whatever the fuck we did back there, where we weren't learning anything, and you know, it was just this basic huge social gathering for like an hour and a half every day, because that's what the drama class was in SJC. I swear to God. I learned so much in TMU in a month taking this course than I did in the 3.5 I did taking the drama class in high school. And I've told the morons this as well. So on one hand, it's like I should have done more for this, just to show that yeah, I've gone beyond everything. I'm better now. But on the other hand, this kind of simplicity just lends itself to exactly what I needed it to, because it is me, but it's not. It's not incoherent by any means. It's just not, you can tell it's not fully fleshed out, which is the problem. But yeah, no, so once again, if you're still here for some reason listening to me ramble, there will be a PDF document link. There'll be a link to a PDF document of the initial script I was gonna use in the description. Otherwise, in the description will also be linked my whole dramatic arts playlist, which provides you all the performances I've done in SJC and outside, as well as the breakdowns for them, just everything in that whole playlist. And yeah, otherwise, thank you guys for watching. I'm Ezra Silver. Like, comment, subscribe for, I don't know, maybe more of this, we'll see. More gamer vlogs, whatever else comes. I will see you all very, very soon.